The Rikers Island jail complex supposed to be closed down for good. A legal mandate calls for the facility to close by August 31st of 2027. But Mayor Eric Adams is saying that city leaders need to rethink that plan before creating a public safety issue. Listen.
Are we as a city willing to say that 2,000 extremely dangerous people, because we don't have enough space, we're going to turn them back onto the streets? So I think the city council must look at this plan, with 50% of the people there have mental health illness, and see how do we come up with a plan that gets the reform we're looking for and the safety that we're looking for.
So today, advocates will launch a countdown clock on the steps of City Hall, pressuring Mayor Adams to take action and move forward with the closure. New York City Councilwoman Jennifer Gutierrez sits on the Criminal Justice Committee, and she'll be at today's rally, and she's joining us this morning to discuss why it is so important for the city to meet this deadline. So good morning, Councilmember. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, so a lot of things at play, right? So the deadline has been pushed to 2027. But the mayor, he said, you know, these borough-based jails are over budget and way too small. So what is the backup plan if it doesn't get done in time? Where are these inmates going to be housed if these jails aren't completed?
Right. So the idea behind the whole borough-based jails legislation, as well as the renewable Rikers legislation that was passed a few years later, was the reality that our city needs to invest heavily in supportive services, like in that video you just rolled. The mayor mentioned the vast population of folks that are in need of mental health services. So the idea is that we're investing in all of those things that prevent folks, New Yorkers, predominantly Black and brown New Yorkers, from even being incarcerated to begin with. And we've only seen those numbers steadily climb since the beginning of his administration. So, you know, it seems, and it's very obvious that this administration is working against all of those benchmarks that advocates, previously incarcerated folks, clergy, and stakeholders put together to ensure that we had a much smaller population at Rikers. Prior to the pandemic, the numbers were reducing because we were able to invest in those programs. As many of you know, a lot of folks that are in Rikers are not even convicted of a felony. Oftentimes are just waiting for a trial. Okay. And that is the reality of a Rikers, of a jail. And so I don't know what this current city council can rethink, because the original legislation gave them at least a decade to work through all of those things, to be able to reduce the population and then build out these borough-based jails, smaller jails, so that we wouldn't be contributing to incarceration.
Okay, understood, right? And the mayor said that he will abide by this if the city council comes back and says, look, this is the plan, we're sticking with it. He said he'll stick with the law, right? And he will abide by that, and that he's not going to get his way on everything. But when you look at the numbers, does he have a point? And I hear what you're saying about reducing the jail population, but if the borough-based jails open in 2027 and they house 3,300, but the inmate population is 6,000, what happens to the remainder? Where do they go?
Well, the reason that the population currently is at 6,000 is because this administration has really moved forward with reliving through a lot of the stop and frisk policies. We're seeing a lot of people being jailed that are experiencing mental health episodes. We all heard the mayor earlier this year saying that, you know, essentially folks would be taken in even if they didn't consent to it. And that's really dangerous. And he even said it. We have this vast population of folks that are in need of mental health services. Are these people that need to sit in jail? Are these people that need to be incarcerated? I don't think so. These are people that need help. These are people that need services. And that's really what our city and our budget should be focusing on, is ensuring that those services are being covered, that we're making those.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm just, is there a contingency plan if that all goes to according to plan, right, and these folks get the mental health they so need? If the jail population did go above 3,300, where do they go?
I just don't believe that. I don't even believe that we can use that statistic right now, because I don't think we've ever seen an investment that we need. We have the 4 borough-based jails that have still not been constructed. We would love the mayor's support in expediting those permits so that they can be constructed, so that they can be finalized. But I don't even think that we can we can plan for that scenario because we haven't gotten there yet.
But is there a possibility that those borough-based jails aren't even going to get done, considering what we're going through with the migrant crisis? I mean, is that going to affect the budget in getting these jails built?
It's a concern. It's a real concern because as it's laid out in the law, the idea is that these jails would be built out and that Rikers would officially close. We'd be able to pass this property over to DCAS to live out, renewable Rikers. But it is a concern, and it's something that we have to continue to hold this administration accountable to. If there are other issues, then we can discuss it. But what we know about Rikers is that it must close.
Yep.
We have this conversation about an independent monitor because Rikers is a humanitarian crisis. It is exactly as harmful as you all think it is.
Yep.
We've lost close to 30 people in Rikers since the beginning of this administration last year, and that is dangerous.
Yes. All right. The mayor has kicked it back to the city council. You're having that rally. Keep us posted on how the communication and conversations continue because we want to stay on top of the story. Councilwoman Gutierrez, appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much.